I'm gonna give you the haphazard basics of color theory right now. At least if you're doing the same stuff as me, or you really care about bold, bright colors, high chroma colors, you're gonna wanna use the CMY color model and not red, yellow, blue. A lot of traditional artists use red, yellow, blue, and then they'll supplement with like magenta and cyan here and there. But the reason why you want to use CMY is because that is what you can mix the most colors from, you can get the most vibrant colors from. Of course, you can't mix every single color. I mean, it's not like you could mix neons from that, but you're going to get really vibrant colors, which is what I'm looking for in all of my work. So I prepared an example for you, which I'm going to show you right now. When you get the primary colors, your primary red, the pigment that they're using is PV19, which is permanent rose. It's actually magenta. So this isn't red, it's actually magenta. You have to add yellow to it to get a true red, which means that red is not a primary. The primary blue is PB15-3, which is phthalo blue, which is a very green blue. So it actually fits the bill for our cyan in what we're mixing. And so you have to remember that, because when you're trying to make a purple, you can't add your yellow to your magenta and then add blue to that, because orange and blue opposites, they're going to dull each other down, and then you're going to get this muddy purple. So you want to use CMY if you're trying to get these really clear, true hues, you know what I mean? The reason why people use red, yellow, blue is because they're doing more natural stuff. They're painting portraits, they're painting nature, and they're trying to make it true to life. And you know, they might supplement with putting a magenta on their palette if they need a really pink flower or something like that. Obviously depends on what you're painting. So if you're painting really bright stuff like me, then you should check it out. You should try that, because my first video that went viral, that's where people were really confused. They're like, what do you mean red and blue doesn't make purple? It does for me. Well, yeah, that's because when you go to the store and you pick up primary red and primary blue, in this case with these Liquitex basic acrylics, this is magenta and this is blue, so these will make a good purple. But if you know that red is actually a mixed color and it includes yellow, and then you take that mixed red because you made your palette ahead of time or whatever, it's going to make a really muddy purple. And that's where that confusion lies. Figured I would explain that right now because it is important and people don't know it. There's a lot of ill-informed people, not just on YouTube, teaching this stuff. And I mean, look who's talking. Feel free to correct me if I get anything wrong. I'm actually really negligent with the lingo. I was calling phthalo blue a warm blue because to me it's like blue that has like a yellowish undertone, but actually it's a cool blue because it's a greenish blue. So when you're looking at your handy dandy color wheel here, it's actually split and green is on the cool side. So that's a good little nugget of truth for you. I highly recommend picking one of these up because it's got a lot of information on here that you're going to need to know if you want to have really good color harmonies. I still use this. If you are an acrylic painter like me, I highly recommend picking up the Liquitex basic acrylics. You can buy it in a kit like this for like 25 bucks and it'll make all the colors that you'll need, unless you want to use glow paint or neons, which you can purchase separate. Before I go, I kind of want to talk about digital art because I feel like a lot of people are turning to digital art because you have this one big expense, which is your iPad or whatever at the time, and then you have all these mediums and things open to you. And it is a great option if you're willing to learn that. But you do need to know that if you're making art for screens, you're going to be painting with RYB, which is red, green, blue, which is those are the additive primaries. And when you're working with a physical pigment like paint or ink, you're going to be using CMYK. It's important to know this because when you're making art that's just going to stay on the internet, it's going to stay on screens. Using red, green, blue as your primary color model is going to make your colors very vibrant and everything's going to look a-okay. But if you plan to print out that work that you made on your tablet or on your computer or whatever else, you have to convert it to CMYK if you want it to print true to color. This is also why you can't use your iPad for a photo reference when you're painting something, because your iPad is showing you red, green, and blue, the additive color model. And when you're mixing with physical paint that is mixed with pigments that are based with CMYK as the primaries, you are going to keep mixing and mixing, and you're going to compare it to the reference on your iPad, and it's never going to be 100% correct. You are going to be on a wild goose chase trying to do that. I've been doing it, and then it hit me. I was like, why am I trying to match this? This not going to match. And then the backlighting of your iPad is also unleashing a whole new can of worms. So if you're looking for a way around that, print your photos. It's cheap to have them printed. You can have them printed at a drugstore, and you can do that over the internet and then just go pick it up. What you can do is you have your printed photo and you make your mix for whatever color you're trying to match. You can take it on your spatula or on your brush and compare. You can even dot it onto the actual photo reference. Whenever I was in my painting classes, my professor always made us print out our reference photos beforehand. He made us do that, and it was extremely helpful, especially as a beginner. Okay, I hope that this was simple and quick and easy to follow, and I hope that it helps you. And if you have any questions at all, let me know below.